Alright friends, just got off the slope, north slope of Alaska. Picked up my belongings and at work where I have my packages delivered, and this is what came. Boom! The Kamp Rite oversized cot tent cot. So here we go, let's set this thing up. Alright, so I have to ask myself why, with all the other videos on YouTube reviewing this tent, setting it up, why would I make another one? The only contribution I'm going to make is this tent cot I bought for the purpose of trying out on my roof rack over there. This is going to go straight to the top of the truck, if I can work it out. I don't know why this dude's creeping around. Just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. There we go. Nothing to it. Very nice. There you go. Included in the box and the dimensions. All kinds of good stuff. Alright, looks pretty straightforward. If you're anything like me, then in your time that you spent waiting for this thing to arrive, you researched your purchase ahead of time, hopefully. And then, while you were waiting anxiously for it to arrive, you consumed every possible video and review that you could on it just to validate your purchase. And that's what I've done. So, got a pretty nice carrying bag there. The rain flies, got its own little snap bag, semi-reusable. It's pretty cool. Got your instructions right on there. And all this crap. Now, I have a lot of friends who have super legit rooftop tent, high dollar, luxury style ones. But those dudes are hardcore and they use them all the time for long trips into the outback. And eventually, one day, I will do the same, probably. But for now, this suits my purpose. Hopefully I can get it up on the truck top. If not, well, then I'll just end up using it on the ground. But there we go. More or less put together. So yeah, $170 or so, straight from Amazon. Single person tent style. Tent fabric is in no way a replacement for a legitimate rooftop tent, but they come in at about 10% of the price. So my number one reason why I haven't sprung for that rooftop tent is, well, a couple reasons. I mean, yeah, the monetary barrier for it, but I just don't want it to take up as much space on the roof of my truck as they do. What I really wish is a legit rooftop tent company would actually produce something that was intended to only take up half of your roof. You know, single person option instead of like full blown. You know, the only ones I've seen come into two versions, down to two people versions, and of course 3 or more or whatever. But I spend a lot of my time in the truck by myself, and I just don't need my entire roof rack occupied by a rooftop tent, which I rarely use, and it just sits up there forever. So, pretty cool, pretty sweet. You got your standard, oh, got a nice little vent there. Very cool. Your standard little loop-de-loos for storing your doors and whatnot. They got this no-seam mesh. I guess that's its own brand now. Tent companies don't just use a generic brand. They use no-seam as the brand, whatever. So here I am out here in this local lake area, talking to myself while passers-by. Make me feel like a real weirdo. And I guess I probably am. I mean, I'm talking to myself on the camera. So the worst thing I ever saw in any of the reviews I read about, namely on Amazon, about this thing was a lot of condensation inside the tent overnight. So much to the extent that in certain environments, it gets you soaking wet overnight. So that's no good. Hopefully ventilation is key to that. First thing I need to overcome is somehow cinching that down so it's not so damn wobbly. Well, that's better anyway. A little bit better. Yes, people stop and stare. That's pretty cool, this little thing. The original tent cot, made by Kamp Rite. Real quick on some of the hardware. Hardware seems a little bit on the stiff side, perhaps a tad brittle. Time will tell. But I wish it would be just a little more pliable. Same thing as the construction of these, kind of cool. It's got their emblem cast into it there. Yeah, just a little concerned about how long that'll hold up. You see there the pin, if you're putting it into seat mode, which I don't see a reason to ever do that, we'll just kind of settle into that notch there, I guess. But it seems pretty sturdy. These things are super hard plasticky. I think if you dropped it once it might snap on you, but right here you got this kind of spring retaining action. And that's what I guess holds your legs in place. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to get this thing mounted on the roof rack with those in place, or if I'm going to have to just remove them, and how that will affect everything. But it seems pretty sturdy. Take a look inside. Lots of room, plenty of space. The nice one about this is the oversized one, and so that means you got those little bars up top that lift this up above your head. So you actually get a little bit of headroom instead of it kind of dangling down here. That factor alone is probably the number one reason why I went with this one. And of course the additional space will be kind of nice too. Looks like I got pockets on the inside here. Some of the ones I saw reviewed had pockets there and there. This one does not have those. Let me get the scissors out here and cut all these dang danglies off. But quite a bit of space. So the real question is, what's it going to look like on top of my truck?